Stephen, thank you for appearing. And Stephen, what the topic is, one of them was his representation of prisoners at Guantanamo Bay.
Which has just come up in the news again recently.
It's very topical.
Right.
Right. So
very topical because
please get into it
because of the prisoner exchange.
I know that at the end of this interview, I'm going to want to continue. So, geez, start telling us.
In 2004, at my previous firm, Wilmer Hale, we got an email asking if we wanted to represent anybody in Guantanamo Bay, and specifically 6 men from Algeria who had been arrested in Bosnia at the demand of the United States right after 9/11 and flown to Cuba to the new prison. We said we wanted to do it. We filed a habeas petition. We got security clearances. We flew to Guantanamo. We met the men. We went to Bosnia where they'd been arrested. We met their wives.
Wow.
Met their families. Developed some of the facts about their circumstances that got them there. Saw that an injustice had been committed. Took the case through the Court of Appeals in Washington to the U.S. Supreme Court. Became the leading case for the proposition that men in Guantanamo, even though it's not the United States, even though they're not U.S. citizens, even though they're not permanent residents, have a right to habeas corpus in the unique circumstances of Guantanamo Bay.
So these aren't considered war crimes? You were able to deal with this outside of that realm?
Most people in Guantanamo were not held for war crimes. They were held in an unusual status called unlawful enemy combatant, which means you're not a uniformed soldier.
I think my wife's used that term on me.
I bet she has. Many of our wives have. It's a term derived from the law of war, meaning someone who's an irregular soldier, not a uniformed soldier in a regularly constituted army. These guys, however, were not that at all. They were social workers from Algeria who were working in Bosnia after the Bosnian Civil War.
Interesting.
To help put the country back together again.
You know, I this is not where you want to take it, I'm sure, but I bet when people knew that you were representing them, did you get a lot of angry communication into your firm?
Very little. You know, this is Boston, and this is Massachusetts. I think if we were representing them from a law firm in Kansas,
right,
or maybe in Dallas,
right,
just to guess, might have been difficult. But the most challenging moment came when a Defense Department official went on a radio show, not unlike this, and said, in answer to a question about whether any major law firms representing people in Guantanamo, yes, there are. I happen to have a list here of the 10 largest firms in the country representing these men. Let me read them off.
Wow.
And let's see how their clients feel about their representation of these terrorists.
Wow.
So we held our breath, and a couple of large client general counsel called in and said, if you guys are tough enough to take on the Bush administration on this one, we definitely have the right law firm.
On the same vein, you know, who retained you for this? You know, you're working for a big law firm. Appears to be a big case. Were these people flush with money?
They had no money. They will never have any money because they can't get jobs now that they're out, because they have a target on their back that says I was in Guantanamo from 2002 until 2008-9, or in one case 2013.
So it's a tragic story.
It's a tragic story.